Dragon fin soup.
We stopped by the busy indie mega booth here at Gamescom. A lot of exciting games. Perhaps we should start off there. What's it like being part of this sort of indie community here in a public show like Gamescom?
It's really, really exciting. We feel privileged to be here because Indie Mega Booth is getting the word out about our games, and that's one of the biggest problems. All of us here, all these independent developers are so passionate about their projects, but it's so hard to get the word out, to share people what we're doing, what we spent our lives creating to share with everyone. So it's a great opportunity to be here.
But you sort of succeeded to break through that wall of sort of that noise with Dragonfin Soup. You were successful on Kickstarter. You managed to get a little bit of funding and get the project rolling.
Yeah, we feel humbled and privileged, and we're still trying our best to keep spreading the word. The Kickstarter was a fantastic experience. You know, we had been working on the game for over a year at that point, and we didn't know if anybody would really love it as much as we do. And it turns out there's quite a few people who do. So we're excited. The game's we're working on it right now, and hopefully it'll come out by the end of this year.
I guess it does have certain things that hit a note with gamers. Can you tell us a little bit in your own words what Dragonfin Soup is for those who are unaware?
Sure. It's RPG with roguelike elements. What we did was we took some of our favorite genres and blended it together. So we wanted to make an accessible roguelike experience, but still make it feel tactical. And also we blended fairy tales. So we took fairy tales and we twisted them, and not the Disney stuff. We're talking the old school fairy tales, the madness, the murder, all that dark majesty. And we just sprinkled a little bit of that in there and mixed it all together, and that's Dragonfin Soup. So
it was all these ingredients that came together to make this soup.
Yeah, and so our game has 3 game modes. A story mode, which you unravel the tale of our hero protagonist, Red Robin. And in our game, she's a raging alcoholic with a shotgun. She's a bounty hunter. And then there's also 2 other modes. There's survival mode, which is our version of a roguelike mode where you can explore all of Ashra. And then there's Endless Labyrinth. That's a new mode that the Kickstarter funded. And it's a high score run. And it's quite fun.
Quite an interesting take on a roguelike to bring it into this kind of game. There's a lot of different roguelikes. I think if you look in the mega booth, there's probably a pretty high percentage of roguelike in here. Because it's something that I guess game developers tend to be hardcore gamers, and it's a genre that really appeals to that.
I think the fascination with roguelikes is the procedural generation and being able to play with that, because it's a dynamic element, you know, versus level design, which is kind of static, right? So here you can play with it and add different type of tweaks to the formula to get different results, and that makes it feel more alive. And I'm really glad that the roguelike genre has picked up so much, because I really think it's worth a good play. A lot of players, if they try it out, they'll see that it's really fun.
Is it also perhaps a little bit less demanding in terms of man hours to fully design a level out, or to have this, because you can have so much content in there? Or
a little bit actually, but not as much as you think, because if you just have random content everywhere, it's not balanced, it's not fun. So a lot of time goes into balancing the flow, creating prefabricated pieces, being able to do a balancing of enemies. And so it's actually a mix of procedural and scripted events. And that's kind of the balancing act you need to do. So yes, it does help, but not as much as you actually think. There's a lot of tuning that goes into it.
So at first thought, it's like, oh, this is going to be a little bit...
Oh, this is easy. You know, I just hit a button and we have 20 levels suddenly. No, it's not like that. You know, all the levels are lovely handcrafted by my partner, Randus Abalon. He does all the paintings for them, all the art, animation, and low-level design and balancing.
And speaking of the art, that is really something that sets the game apart as well. Can you tell us a little bit about the motivations and the inspirations that gone into this, and what kind of theme you're trying to convey with the art?
Sure. So just as a quick refresher, our team is just 5 people, and it's 3 programmers, our music composer Jade, and one artist, my partner Randus, who does everything, all the posters, all the in-game art. And for the art style, I can't really speak for Randus. What I can say is we wanted it to be charming, we wanted it to be vibrant, but in that way then we can tell a darker tale. You know, the more abstract something is, the more serious content you can do. So think of South Park, right? It's very cartoony, cut-out shapes, but they're way over the top, right? Real extreme violence and humor and just whatever. But you're not offended by it because it's so abstracted. So we want to do a little bit here. If we're going to start telling some of this dark majesty from the Grimm fairy tales, we need to make it appealing, a little cartoony, but also colorful and vibrant, so it doesn't put people off.
Sounds great. What's the roadmap ahead with Dragonfin Soup? What are you still to do, and when will people get?
Sure. So we're pre-beta right now, and we're at the stage where we'll be doing a closed beta, invite only, and then hopefully we'll have it out in time for the holidays of this year. And right now we're just polishing, adding the last bit of content. All the major systems are in, and we're just making sure that it's tuned and balanced.
Thank you so much for your time.
Thank you. This is awesome. Have a great show.